Hey beautiful human, welcome back to the YouTube channel. On today's little vid, I am going to be talking all about money mindset. And now before I get going any further, I want to preface that this is not a video about pull yourself up by the bootstraps and you're the reason why you're poor. No, there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of systemic oppression that causes people to not have income coming in or things like this. So it's not about that. It's more so to recognize what are we doing with money once we do receive it, and what is the part that we play in that, if it is something you want to change. And so I do want to also tell you a little story about myself, and that I don't have the best relationship with money. It's better than it's ever been, but it's still not super great. But what I'm going to be teaching you today is going to be the steps that I've taken to get from having not being able to say money is good out loud without throwing up in my mouth, and living essentially paycheck to paycheck, and how I got to where I am now, where I'm a bit more conscious. I'm not afraid. I don't get anxiety looking at my bank account anymore, and it's not because there's a lot of money in there. It's because my bank account is just providing me information. And so it's taken me about 3 years, 3 to 4 years of consciously attempting to shift my mindset around money. And I've noticed significant differences in how I receive money, how I save money, how I spend money, how I track money, and all that good stuff. And just saying the word money out loud. Money, 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 money. I literally could not have done that like 3 years ago. And it wasn't until I read, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, that there's a segment in there where it says, say this phrase out loud, or say money is good. And so I went to say it out loud, money is good. And I literally, everything just came up and made me squidgy. So I want you to try that right now. This is how you'll know this video is for you. Just right now, out loud, say, money is good. And does it make you feel a twinge in your chest? Does it make you feel squidgy in your chest? Do you do a nervous laughter after you say it, and all that good stuff? If so, this is the video for you, my friend. Because you are not that much different than I was. All right, so today I want to share 3 of the strategies that I've implemented that have helped me move further along on my money mindset journey. There's a lot more other pieces, like reading certain books, listening to podcasts, that have also helped. But these are the 3 main continued practices that really make a big difference, because it's me talking to myself. All right, so the first thing is understanding our relationship with money. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times we'll say, oh, if I just had more money, then I would do X, Y, Z. Okay, so if you want to be able to save money, we need to become emotionally attached to it. But if you think money is bad, your brain's like, I don't want it. So it's going to spend it as soon as you get it. So when you think about making money, receiving money, and so on, I want you to think about, what do I want to do with that money if I was to get it? Right? If I was to be financially free, what would that look like? What would my life look like? What would I be doing differently? And so for me, financial freedom looks like the ability to do art whenever I want to be able to jump on a plane if my friend needs me and I need to fly to them without being like, well, can I afford? I want to be able to fly first class because I live in a bigger body that I don't want to have to, and I know it's not fair that I have to pay extra to get a bigger seat, but listen, I'm willing to pay for that, just to have it. It helps my anxiety, I want to be able to take my nieces and my nephews on trips when they turn 16 to anywhere they want to go in the world and not feel like I have to penny pinch or steer them towards certain destinations. I want them to be able to choose me, to say like, yep, let's go, and not even hesitate booking the trip. I want to be able to buy what I want when I want it, without looking at a price tag, maybe. I want to be able to connect more with people without the fear of, is this going to make me money? Like, I don't want to have to monetize everything I'm doing. Sometimes I just want to be able to show up and meet people and not think like, well, I got to pay for my time. Da 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 da. No, I want to be so financially free that I can just meet up with people and it's cool. So there's a lot of things I want to do that I want to prioritize saving money so that it allows me to live the life that I want. But for the majority of my life, I have this belief that money is bad. Okay, so the questions that I'm going to get you to ask, and let me just pull them up here because I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget. Okay, so the first question you want to ask is, why do you want to save money? What will money do for you if you were to have it? Let's say you did. Here's the thing. People win the lottery all the time and they end up going bankrupt if they haven't mastered their money mindset. And so you might get the money. In fact, you probably get paid every 2 weeks, or you get paid by people all the time. But if you're anything like I used to be, that money leaves as quickly as it shows up because you're afraid to hang on to it, which we're going to discuss in the next question. Okay, so right now, I just want you to ask yourself, what will money do for me? Okay, what good can it create in my life? So get clear on why you want more money in the first place, not just that you want more money. Okay? All right. Question number 2 is, where does your money story start? And this is when I started to realize that money and body image are literally the same thing. And there's a lot of other things that are the same. But essentially, it's the tip of the iceberg that we're chipping away at here. And the thing is, at that tip, it's like, oh, if I just had more money, my life would be happier. And yes, in some instances, being able to pay your bills and survive, yeah, that would make you happier because you'd be able to focus on the things that you want to do. Okay? So I get that. But at some point we get to a place where we're generally comfortable. Like, you get paid and you can pay for your groceries and bills, but like, you still wish that you had more, right? So that tells me that if that's you, that tells me that this question is going to be very important for you. So ask yourself, where does your money story start? And when I was asked this question via To Be Magnetic, which is an online meditation school for manifestation, that was one of the questions, is what were your caretaker's relationships with money like? And so at first I thought of my mom, who like scrounged every penny, worked as many jobs as she could, And then in my meditation, I saw my dad. And my dad's relationship to money was that enough is never enough. People that have money are assholes. If as soon as he would make money, he would spend it because he didn't think he deserved it, I assume. There's a lot of that going on. And then when he finally started making money, he became an asshole. Like, he did some not so great things to my mom and so on. And so he became the very thing that he said money would create. And in his case, it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. So now imagine little Terry is witnessing this behavior, like, oh, my dad says that if people have money, they're bad people. Okay, I'm going to lock that away because I want my dad to like me. And so once he died, my money mindset went wow, because I, for some reason, feel that maybe if I was living paycheck to paycheck, I would have something in common with my dad that passed away. Like, it was ridiculous when I started to unravel the threads. And so the question is, what were your caretaker's relationships with money like? And it's not to judge them, blame them, or otherwise, because guess what? They're just humans trying to human in this world too. Right? But rather to provide some context, because everything you know, you learn from somebody else until you decide to change it, at which point then it's you teaching you. So that was a question that really, really helped me build context around why I was afraid of looking at my bank account, because my dad never looked at his bills. Why I was so, like, as soon as money would come in, I wanted to spend it on people. I wanted to show them how much money I had, because my dad used to do that as well. And I realized, oh, this is me doing the same thing. So I started to recognize that my patterns were the same as his patterns. And on the other hand, I have my mom, who is like having a scarcity mindset around like, oh, we got to save and hoard this money. We have to hide the money. We have to make sure, because, my dad was spending it all the time. She was the one dealing with the bill collectors. I would have felt all the stress in the family. And I can imagine taking all that on. And if we never reflect on the context, we're never going to move further ahead, because we're just going to keep recreating the behaviors and patterns that we witness, because that's all we know until we know something otherwise. And so when it came time for me to say the phrase money is good, it made me squidgy, because it bounced off of my very strongly held belief that money is bad and makes bad people. And so that squidginess, that defensiveness that came up was a sign to me that, oh, there's something here that needs to be worked on and looked at and explored a bit more and kind of teased apart to figure out what part of this am I perpetuating now into my adulthood. And how can I shift that? So if my old belief is that money is bad, and my dad's belief is money is bad and creates bad people and all these things, I want to start looking for representation of the opposite. I want to start looking for people that are doing good things with money. I want to start looking at people that look like me that are making, a lot more money. I want to look at people that are saving money. I want to look at people that are like, I can do all these things for all these people because I have this money, instead of the other way around. And so looking at the behaviors and patterns, and then asking yourself, okay, how can I create new behaviors that will help me build up the way I want to think instead of the way that I'm default thinking? Okay? So that's question number 2, is what was your caretaker's relationships with money like, and how can I shift that to what I want it to become? All right. Number 3, the third question for today's video. And this is this a question? This is more of a statement. I want you to look at your own spending habits. And this is squidgy. Let me tell you a story. Okay, so in my university years, I think this was this is right after my dad died. So my dad had just died. I traveled to Europe to be a nanny for a little bit, and I used a credit card to get there. I used a credit card to zip around Europe. I went to Belfast, went down to Barcelona, went to London. And after about 4 months or 5 months, I eventually came home. So naturally, I was getting credit card statements. But because I never learned how to look at a credit card statement, I would just throw it in the garbage. I wouldn't even shred it. That's how bad I was. Okay, so I would just throw it in the garbage. And then, I came home, and at that time I didn't have a place to live, so I was living with my mom. And I came into the kitchen, and she had opened my credit card statement, which I know is fraud, but it's fine. Okay, so she's like, Terry, I need you to sit down. So as soon as I sat down and looked at what was in front of me, I went to get away from it. I was like, what is this? And the panic that came over me in that moment was so intense, because I was having to face my money and it was not in my control. And so my mom said, sit down and just look at it. She's like, you don't have to do anything. I just need you to look at your bank statement. And of course it said I was X amount in debt, and I was racking up all this interest and da-da-da-da-da. And that story is still, I can vividly remember and feel the panic come up in my body, because I wanted to run away as quickly as possible. But in that moment, that was one of the first experiences of me recognizing how scared I was to just look at the situation. And this is the same thing when it comes to anything that brings up anxiety for us. We have this belief that if I just don't look at it, then it's not true. That's not how it works. It continues to be true, just even if you're not looking at it. So what my bank statements allowed me to do was to take a look and see, how was I spending my money? It was just information. But again, our brain loves to sort things into good or bad categories. My dad had taught me that looking at bank statements is bad. So my brain says, this is a bad thing. This is bad information that makes me feel anxious. It's bad, bad, bad. Right? And so naturally I didn't want to do it. But the reality is, it's just the reality. It's neutral. It is what it is. That is what was owing. And it's not good or bad information. It's just information. And so I had to learn how to become comfortable with that. So the first, actually, this is a good activity if you're somebody that gets real squidgy about looking at your bank account. I made my best friend do this. All I want you to do for the next month, don't do anything else. Don't change any behaviors. Don't do anything else. Just look at your bank account every single day and pay attention to how it makes you feel. That's it. That's your only homework if you're at that stage, okay? Just do that for 1 month. Then, after a month of looking at it and getting comfortable with it, then we can start to move to the next thing, which is these questions and so on. But just get comfortable looking at your information. All right? So once you are comfortable looking at your bank statements and your credit card statements and your payments and things like that, then we want to take a look at where are you spending your money? And this is really important because the very first question I asked you was, why do you want money? Well, I want money for financial freedom. I want to be able to travel. I want to do all these things. Okay, great. That's fantastic. Where are you spending money? And so are you spending money on those things that you are really excited to spend money on, or are you spending money on different things? For example, for me, I spend money on clothes, a lot of clothes. And it took me kind of peeling back, why do I buy clothes? And looking at what specifically it was. What do I think clothes will give me that I don't already have within me? I notice that I buy clothes when I'm feeling insecure, when I have a speaking engagement. I need better clothes because I'm not good enough. I need something better. And I started to realize that my behaviors were driven by an insecurity. And so I was able to kind of take stock of what was driving my spending habits based on what I was buying. So yeah, the biggest thing I would buy was clothes or like sometimes cosmetics. I don't even wear makeup that often. And if I do, it's just for fun, for photo shoots. But I would go in these like spurts of like, oh, I need all the makeup stuff. I'm going to be that person that does that. And it would always, if I looked at the surrounding context of that situation, it was always insecurity that drove me to buy those things. Because that's how marketing works. That's how the patriarchy has made women believe things forever. That's what I'm saying. It's the same as body image. Where we spend our money tells us where we think we're lacking. The other thing I spend a lot of money on is books. And I used to tell myself, oh no, that's never a bad thing to spend money on books. But listen, if I buy 5 books on the same topic and really only read all of them halfway through, is that really the best return on investment? Or why do I think I need to have those books in the first place? And I think I referenced this in a past video where I shared some of my favorite books, is that I was collecting books to show people how smart I was. I wanted people to say, look how well read she is. And no, they weren't audiobooks. Look at her making time for her mind. Like, now get out of here with that stuff. But to me, that was what I thought I needed in order to prove to people that I was good enough. And so having this information in the form of my bank statement allowed me to look at that. The other thing was where I spent money was on food, eating out a lot, especially when I was at work. Eating out and recognizing like, oh, I wasn't valuing myself enough to cook meals for myself, to take time to sit with myself through making a meal or enjoying the process of my food. I would just buy something quickly, scarf it down so I could get on to the next work thing. That is not freedom. That is not helping me be the person I want to be. So looking at your bank statements gives you the opportunity to really peel back why we're spending money and not feel bad that you are, but get curious about why you are. Because just like body image, everyone says, well, if I lost weight, then I'd be happy. No, if you had more money, I'd be happy. No, because the thing is, I was making a lot of money, but I was spending it as fast as it came in on things that I thought would make me more, would make me better, would make me more valuable to the people around me. Because A, I thought money was bad, so I had to get rid of it. And B, I was insecure. So, oh, I've got this money. I can use that to fix this insecurity. No. Only I can fix the insecurity by believing that I'm enough as I am right now. Right? So being curious through this process is going to be one of your best tools. Judgment helps no one. So feeling bad when you do go on a shopping binge, not helping anyone. Just instead say, I wonder why I did that. Is this a time of year where I normally feel insecure? Oh, I get seasonal affective disorder, so I noticed that I'm feeling down a lot, and I thought these things would help make me feel better. Okay, cool. Maybe next year around this time, you'll say, okay, normally I spend a lot of money at this time, so in order to avoid that, I need to put these things in place to ensure that that doesn't happen. Right? You can make a plan of attack once you have the information, but if you're afraid of the information to begin with, you're not going to look at it. So get comfortable with the idea that your bank statements, your credit card statements, your PayPal statements, all of that is just information. It is not good. It is not bad. It's just information to help you make more empowered decisions moving forward. Okay? So that, my friends, is your start to working through your money mindset. Of course, it requires a lot more than this. It requires reading books. It requires taking in more information. But the biggest change of all is the repetitious practice of looking at your bank statements, looking at why did I spend that money? Why did I think I needed that? And being more intentional about that. And again, not judging yourself for it, but just being curious along the way. And the more you do that, the more you're going to start to see a shift in how you think of money, what money can do for you, and so on. So go out there, find people that are doing the thing, that are like great people but they're still human, so don't think they're perfect. But people that are doing good things and they have money. These two things are not exclusive. There are good people that have a lot of money. They are not exclusive. So, but your brain needs evidence to believe that potentially. So go find that, look at your bank statements, and get clear on why you want money in the first place. And that all of that is going to help you move further along in this money mindset journey and help you start, at the very least, saving the money that you have coming in. And in future videos, then we will work on how to make more money. But for now, let's just start saving the money that you do have coming in. Okay? Beautiful. All right. Thank you so much for watching, my friends. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye.